Hello everyone, this is Sunna.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Glen More 2 Chronicles from Fun Tales and Matthias Kramer.
And it plays from 2 to 4 players in 90 to 120 minutes.
So this is the Kickstarter version. I think it's going to be almost the same. We got some metal coins and stuff, but I think the contents of the game is going to be the same. This is a new version, that's why it's called number 2, of Glen More, which is a game we have only played once.
Yes.
We played it at a con in Sweden.
Yeah.
And did we like it?
Yeah, we liked it a lot, and we were pretty happy when the Chronicles came out.
Chronicles came out,
Chronicles.
Yeah. We backed this on Kickstarter because we enjoyed Glen More, but we didn't own it, and got sucked into Kickstarter as usual. And let's tell you about it. Let's look at the rulebook first.
I'm just like, I have all the puns, and there's a lot of puns, because we like Glen More more than what. It's, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's taken from a Gaming Rules live chat, so you can go and watch that. I don't remember which video it was, but you can go fun. You can go and just go and watch all the Gaming Rules videos, and you will find it in the live chat. So the rulebook here is 39 pages long, which is long, but most back of it is just like people and stuff. So the base rules of the game is here. Let's see. It's about 15 pages long, but it is a lot of pages. It's a lot of pages, a lot of pictures. So this rulebook has a lot of pages with pages in them. There's a lot of pictures of how to set it up, how different things work in the game. I think it's a pretty clear rulebook because the base game is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's a pretty light game. Like you just move a guy and take the tile and put it somewhere you can put it and activate it and all the stuff around it. And that's basically the rules as well.
Yeah.
So you are in this game, there's a rondel and it's a one-way street basically. So if you are furthest back on this street, you can move as far as you want, land a tile, take that tile, pay it if you have to pay for it, put it into your tableau, and you have to put it adjacent to one of your workers. I don't remember the name of them. Do you remember the name?
Scottish people.
Scottish people. So
it's
Scottish person. They're not called that, but let's call it that. The Scottish guy. And you have to put him beside him because he's building it or something. And then you can activate that tile, all the tiles around, which will net you resources. It will give you movements. You can move your Scottish people around, and you can convert resources into points. And you can make whiskey. That's basically all that you can do in the base game.
Yeah.
Get resources, make whiskey, transform them into victory points, and try to get the most points. And there's 4 stacks of tiles in the game. After each of them is depleted, you will have a scoring where like you will see how many whiskey do you have, and how many whiskey does the person who have the least whiskey have, and then you see the difference and you will score points. And there's like 4 of these different things that you try to accumulate more, and then if you have the least, you want to try to accumulate that as well, so that all the other players don't get a lot of points. And after the 4th scoring, there's also a scoring for the person who have the least tiles. Everyone have to see how many tiles more they have, and they will lose 3 points for all the tiles they have more than the player who has the least tiles. That's kind of a catch-up mechanism for if I jump far ahead and you jump far ahead, and third player will just go doom, 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 and take 6 tiles. And those tiles will have to be worth a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's just a brief overview of how the game plays, and rulebook. Rulebook is good.
Yeah.
And it's easy to learn the game as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah.
So the artwork and components, I think, is really good here.
Yeah, I agree. It's really a nice artwork. Sometimes there's some river tiles. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, that's a river. Where, okay. But other than that, there's nothing to like worry about.
But that is also really, well, I agree with you. It's like easy to don't remember, but it is clearly stated at the top of the tile where it says what kind of tile it is.
No.
It says river tile. It's not like you have to see in the actual image to see if there's, oh, is there a river here?
True.
So it's just bad players.
Yeah.
And not
That's
bad
the fault of
graphic.
us. Yeah, I agree.
Not bad graphic design.
Yeah.
I think the graphic design is good. It's clear what you want to do. It's clear what the tile gives you. It's clear what the tiles can produce. It's clear what the tile costs. And still there is kind of a nice artwork, and even all the tiles have different names, Scottish names that we no means can pronounce because that's impossible. But everything looks nice. I like the only thing, basically, like this is the only thing I reacted to. Like everything in this game is top-notch quality-wise. Like the components is super nice. Everything from the resources to everything is super nice. And then you have these super small player in discs in your player card, cardboard chits in your player card, which you place on the clan board. That's like super cheap, super small things which you normally would throw away in a game. So that's kind of strange. Like everything is blinged and everything is like super nice, and you have these things that just are nothing. I would have liked those to be small wooden counters.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be more in style of the whole game. I think it kind of ends up being something. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't end up me liking the game less. But I am thinking about it every time I play. It's like, why are these like that? I don't know if it bothered you.
No, I haven't thought about it once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm strange. I'm not usually the guy who thinks about that. But I thought the production was so good.
Yeah.
That I noticed it because that was like subpar to the rest of the production.
Yeah. Now that you're mentioning it, I'm just like, yeah, that's not as good as everything else. Then yeah, I agree.
So we have played this with 2, 3. Have you played it 4?
No.
I don't think we have played it at 4 players.
We haven't.
We played Glen More 1 with 4 players, but that doesn't really matter. So we played 2 and 4 players, and we played with the modules. We're going to talk about those soon, or the Chronicles. We played without it. It takes about an hour with both 2 and 3 players, and with them it has taken around 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but I think this game,
fast.
I think it flies by as well because it's a really quick game. Like on your turn, you're just taking a tile, maybe paying some resources, getting some points, and you're done.
Yeah, and it's not a racing game, but it feels kind of like a race towards to manage to get that few extra points before each scoring. So I like that we're scoring not only in the end of the game, but like during it as well. It makes the time fly by when we play this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love that you have like. Is it 4 different like intermediate scorings?
Yes.
That you kind of all of them are not area majorities but majorities.
Yeah.
So you're always like, okay, I need 1 more of these percentiles because then I have 5 more than you, and then you snag 1 of them, and then I go from having 4 to 3 to 2 of them more than you, and that gives me less points. I love that when you have no whiskey, for example. I have a lot of whiskey. You getting whiskey is getting you points by taking away points from me.
Yeah, like
so
that as well.
I really love that part of the game where you have those different aspects that you race.
Yeah.
And trying to squeeze out, that you say, that extra whiskey before the tiles go away. So it feels like you can't go ahead and take all the tiles you want. You have to take the tiles that are important to you and to the strategy you are doing. If you're going to collect stuff, or if you're going to get a lot of animals, trade them for points, and then somebody just takes the animal trading tile and you won't get any points, and just so much good stuff.
Yeah, but I also like that you can, if you want to, you can move like really slowly and take everything in your way, almost. I don't see like the fun in that though, but you can, if you just ensure that each of those tiles are worth more than 3 points. You can do it.
Yeah, and you can do it even though it's not worth 3 points, but then probably you're going to get less points than the other players and you won't win.
Yeah.
But you might have fun. And that's even more important. So the replayability here is super high.
Yeah, I think so too. You could go for various strategies, and it's also much depending on what your opponents do and in which order the tiles come out and how many chronicles you decide to involve in your game. Yeah, I think the replayability
is very high.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to talk about the Chronicles. So we're doing it the normal way. You explain something why you like it, and then we explain what it is. So in this game, we have modules, Chronicles. We have 8 of them in the game box, and those will change the game just like in a really small way. We haven't played with all of them. We played with 5 of the 8 Chronicles. Really wanted to play with the rest of them, but haven't had the time yet. And you can basically mix and match as you want.
Yeah.
You could play with all of them, which I think would just be chaos and completely horrible, because that would be like you had so many different things to think about and to do beside the normal things, and the game would also be super long because a lot of the Chronicles add tiles to the tile stacks, which makes it go longer. I have enjoyed the Chronicles we have played so far.
Yeah.
Like some of them have been more game-changing than the others. Like, for example, Chronicles 2 is a mountain. And you put it on the tile track, on the rondel. And wherever you move past it, you have to put a resource or a coin beside it. And if you choose to stop there, you will just get all the stuff. And that's the module.
It's really easy and simple, but it adds some thinking to do and like another like timing aspect to the rondel. I think that's neat, and it's also like this boat race that changes the game like more, because then you can move your, instead of moving your guys with your movement, you can move your boat.
Scottish guys.
Your Scottish guys, yeah. You can move your boat, and the one that gets like, you get some bonuses along the way, and the first one to like get back to their own castle get points, and the persons that do not, then they don't get points, and they can't score their money for points at the end. I think that's I like the modules and the variety I've seen so far.
I like that racing as well, because you're racing along your river and then the other player's river, so they can basically extend their rivers if they see like you are farther ahead of them in the race, and it's like, oh, you're gonna win now, but then I'm gonna put a tile here, so it's farther for you, so you won't get there in one turn, and maybe I can sneak away that. So it adds a bit of interactivity to the game as well.
Yeah, it does.
I really have enjoyed the modules so far. Some work better with 2, like one of them felt a bit overpowered with 2, but we don't know, we just played it once.
Yeah.
But I think that they add, like modules should, like this is a game with the expansion in it. Like this is the game, and then you have an expansion which has 8 modules.
Yeah.
And you can just play with them. So I would say that if you enjoy the game, you will have endless replayability.
Yeah.
Because you can play module 1 with module 2, and then module 1 with module 3, and so far. And after you played everything with module 1, do the same with module 2, and then do 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
So you can play it, I haven't mathed it out, but you can play it like a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and I think the base game in itself is really good. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, super, super good. So let's talk about some of the things we enjoy about this game, and maybe if there's some things we don't enjoy about the game. Like, for example, one thing I really love is the market.
Yeah, I think the market is brilliant as well. Do you want to explain it though?
Yeah, basically, the market is super cool.
I'm just like saying, this is cool.
Oh, no worries. We have all of these different resources.
Yeah.
And all of them has like a 1, 2, and 3 beside them. So if I need a wood, I can take a coin and I can pay for that wood. And then the next time somebody needs wood, they can pay 2 coins because it's a 2 space now. And the third player who needs wood can pay 3 for wood. And then nobody can buy any more wood until I come along with my wood empire, and I will say, oh, I have this wood I don't need. I'm going to sell it now. And because I sell it, I will take the 3 coins. And if there's no coins there, I cannot sell. So it's kind of like a really simple fluctuating market that works super well.
It works so good, and it's so simple, and I'm really impressed like how the it's so accurate and so simple at the same time. I really like the market.
Yeah, it might be like one of my favorite mechanisms of the game.
Yeah.
Like the of course the rondel, the moving, how far you want to go, that's kind of the crunchiness of it. But that feeling like, okay, I need a wood now, but that's 3 coins now. Why don't somebody sell some wood, and then somebody does? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in there and pay that 1 coin for that wood, because coins are victory points. So if I go and do like trading stuff for victory points and I spend 4 coins to do that, then probably I'm not gonna get as many victory points as I wanted to. So there's just like, let's talk the base game. Like the base game is pretty simple.
We haven't talked about the persons yet.
The persons.
The people tiles that you don't put on your map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you can get these persons that gives you bonuses like on the what do you call
clan
it?
board.
The clan board, and then you will also don't put tiles on your map that one doesn't activate anything, and that's kind of bad.
That's negative, yeah.
But you don't get minus points for it, so it's like
So it doesn't add up to your tiles. Yeah,
I like that.
This is one of the biggest difference from Glen More 1. I don't remember too much about the game, so we're not going to do a comparison. But that's one of the biggest differences. You have that second board with all the bonuses. If I remember correctly, a lot of these bonuses, like the scorings and so on, was on tiles in the base game.
Yeah.
Like in the first game, and this makes it more like fair. It makes it easy. Everybody can go. You can, whenever you want, when you take one of those, if you can pay your way there, because you have to pay from either one of the other players' small super cool discs, or from the beginning square, and you have to pay like the money that's on the different pots you take. and then you can do it wherever you want. So it's not like, oh, you got lucky and got that scoring tile. It's more like, oh, you are going for that, I'm going for that, oh, I'm going to snag it now.
Yeah.
And you can go and do it wherever you want, and there is person tiles on the board.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like how that works. It adds a bit more, like the first time you play, I played it just the other day, and it adds a bit more AP for new players. Like oh, I got that kind of bonus. Okay, what do I want?
Yeah.
Because there is so many things
I got it.
on that board that you can choose between. Most of them, some of them you can't choose because you're not gonna get that scoring and so on. But it's like, do I want those coins? Do I want that special ability? Do I want this? Do I want that?
Yeah.
So the first time you play, probably that's gonna take a bit more time.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I feel like I've always gotten like too few coins to even take that choice. You know, because you have to pay your way there.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
So yeah, is there anything you don't like?
Some of the Chronicles I'm not like super hyped for, but I think that they changes up the game in different ways that people will enjoy, and they don't change that much. I like that as well. I can't like point my finger at something that I'm just like, no, I don't like that.
Okay, so I'm not a huge fan. I understand why it's there, but I'm not a huge fan of the die in 2-player games.
Yeah.
It is like when you play 2 players, you have your 2 dudes on the rondel, then you have a die. And whenever the die is the furthest behind, you roll it and you move it that many spaces and remove that tile. It adds a bit of randomness that I don't like. Because when I play with you or when I play 3 players, I will see like, okay, you're probably not going for that tile.
Yeah.
But with the die can just be like, oh, I took that tile. And my strategy is just out the window.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, but I think with 2 players without it, it would be too long.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's there. You could also play it, it says in the rules, you could play it with 3 players to make it shorter. Don't really see why you would want that because it's a pretty short game from before. And that's like the only thing. So I would play this with 2 players, but I think like I would much rather play it with 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I will take this out like as a pure 2-player game because we have so many other 2-player games. But with 3 players and probably 4 as well, this is a superb game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would rather play it with 3 than 2. And it's like you said, it's you can plan more ahead with 3 players than with a die even. I mean, yeah, because you can see what other players are doing, and also there are 3 persons now fighting for these intermediate scorings, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Much more interesting than just like being like this tug of war between the 2.
It's usually that in all games that is kind of a race, even though this isn't a race like majority games. It's more interesting if you can try to go from not being lost to being to not being lost. You don't have to be lost or first. It's not like a zero sum. It's not like either this or this. You can try to be in the middle. And I always like that. Like that mechanism is always better with more players.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then I can try to squeeze out a few points, even though I'm not going to get as much whiskey as you. I can try to get more as the 3rd player, and so then I will get just 2 points maybe in the scoring.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot more interesting. So basically, it's a much better game with 3 players.
Yeah.
So should we do final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should.
You want to start? Should I start?
I can start.
You start.
This is a superb game. It's really solid. I like what they've done with the Chronicles. I myself am happy with the base game, actually. I don't need the Chronicles to have fun, but I like to have the opportunity.
To have fun.
I really like to have the opportunity to, okay, now I want to do the boat race, or now I want to like try to like age my whiskey and do my whiskey strategy in some other way. I like that I have the opportunity to do that. I remember the first time we played, I've forgotten the name of the game.
Glen More.
Oh my god. Yeah, Glen More. And
that's the one we're doing now.
Yes, that's the one. And
so many games.
I really liked it, and I got kind of the same feeling when playing it again now, but there's so many other games. I don't think this is my favorite. But yeah, it's super duper solid, but it didn't capture me now as it did the first time I played it. Yeah. Because then I was just like, oh, this is fun. This is so fun. It's still fun, but I don't know. But it's a super solid game, so I'm going to give it an 8.
Giving an 8. Okay, didn't
That was a
sound-
lot of rambling.
That was a lot of. It's very good, but it's not so good. So it's good, but
I'm
it's
just
not that
not
good.
in love with it.
Okay, you're not in love, but you like it enough to give it an 8. That's pretty one of the highest ratings you've given in a long time.
Yeah, it is because.
So you must like it quite a bit, but not just
Yeah.
love. You
Yeah.
like I like you, not like a friend.
But what is love?
What is love?
Yeah.
Baby, don't hurt me.
I just
Don't hurt
had to.
me no more.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final thoughts. I like this game a lot. This is a high contender for top 10 of games
Cool.
of the year. I think that the Chronicles is what makes it like the replayability for me. I think that the base game would be good to have around and play once in a while, but the Chronicles makes it so like, okay, today we're gonna do these two, or today we're gonna do this one, because it adds just a tiny bit, and you can win like when we played with the Haggis one. I went really hard for that, and you didn't go so much for that. But it's like with everything here, you have to balance, and I think it would be more interesting with more players. You have to balance, like, okay, I'm gonna try to do so that your score is not so much. I'm gonna try to get this, and all of these aspects is just super duper fun. Not so keen on playing it a lot with 2 players because there's just too much randomness with that die. Maybe it's possible to play without it, but the rules says you have to play it with it, so that's what we did. But other than that, it's a super, super, super cool game that I think you will like. It's a medium weight game, not too heavy, easier rules to get into the base game. You can play it a couple of times and just add in a Chronicle if you want to. But the base game is solid. The Chronicle adds replayability, which is a hard word to say, it seems like. Replayability. I'm going to give this an 8.5. Super good, cool game that I hope to play again.
Yeah, cool.
So that's the end of the review.
It is.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Sodwa.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.